welcome to episode 6 of the Family Love Food channel. Today we're going to do a little kiddie favourite. To be fair, I think most adults like it too. We're going to make cookies today. Really lovely recipe, really easy to adapt to how you want. Today what we're going to do is put milk and white chocolate in. So you can put Smarties, nuts, whatever you want to put in it. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to put the recipe up now for you. And I'm just going to go through the recipe and the ingredients. So I've pre-weighed everything. In there we've got 550 grams of self-raising flour. Now we use self-raising flour, not all cookie doughs use self-raising flour, but it just gives it a bit of rise to your cookie and a bit of texture. So what we're going to do is from there, it is best to use a mixing machine, but again, you don't have to, you can do it by hand. Now the method that I'm going to do today is what we call an all-in-one method. I'm going to use a paddle for it. Now if you want to do it by yourself without a machine, I would suggest creaming your butter and your sugar together first, and then add your flour, your eggs and your chocolate and just mix it into the dough, which we'll show you. So you've got your 550 grams of flour in there, and then your butter, you've got 225 grams of butter in there, just nice and soft. If you want to use margarine or stock or anything like that, your baking marge, you can do, that's absolutely fine. Sugars, what you do is you have a split of sugar, two different sugars. So you've got light soft brown sugar and caster sugar, and what we're doing is 200 grams of each of those. So it's going to make quite a lot of cookie dough this, but there's a bit of a thing behind it, so I'll explain that to you. So we've got 100 grams of chocolate, of milk chocolate, and 100 grams of white chocolate. As I say, if you want to add more, you can do. You can add one to Smarties, you can do nuts, whatever you want to. Vanilla paste, you might have seen this in one of my other videos. Absolutely amazing is vanilla bean paste. You can put essence in again if you're on the budget, because it's quite expensive, about £6 a jar. So again, we've got about a teaspoon and a half there that we want to put in it. Just gives a nice background flavour to your cookie. If you don't like vanilla, absolutely fine, don't have to put it in. Right, eggs, medium eggs, you want 4, large eggs, you want 3, and if you've got really tiny eggs, then you probably, to be fair, you probably get away with 4, but if you're cooking really dry, then just add another egg. What we're going to do is mix it all together, and we're going to bake some straight away, and then what I'm going to do is just going to show you how, and the best thing and how to do it is freezing it. It'll freeze in a roll this, and it'll last for months, 6 months, a year in your freezer, and all you have to do is unravel a bit, cut it into your circles, put it on your tray, and it's perfect, and it bakes them just as perfect, but it lasts for ages. So it's a really good thing to do. This makes quite a few cookies to store as a dough, and then just bake it when your kids want it. If you've got a little party, you've got a few kids coming round, a friend coming round, you think, oh, some fresh biscuits will be good, I haven't got time to make them, but I've got that cookie dough in the freezer, so I'll get that cookie dough out and I'll cut a bit off, and that's it, it's baked, it's done, and then everybody that comes round to your house thinks, lovely, fresh baking. So what we're going to do is put this on a slow to start off with, on a machine, so otherwise you'll end up with it absolutely everywhere. Like I say, if you do it by hand, you cream your butter and your sugar together, then add all the rest of your ingredients after that. All I'm doing now is just getting to the bottom and just lifting. There's always usually a little bit of flour when you're mixing it. on a mixing machine. So as you can see, I'm just lifting that flour up from the bottom, just so we make sure that we catch all the flour and everything's even. Now a lot of people are probably watching this thinking that that is a very, very wet cookie dough. It shouldn't be like that. Now this is not like any cookie dough I've ever used until I talked to one of my friends and he had an idea of playing about with a few things, and I took this back, and when I was in the hotels, and I took this back and I worked on it and I made it work brilliantly, and even though it's soft, it just works perfect. And when you, like I say, when you got it in the freezer, when you get it out the freezer, it'll be set enough that you'll be able to chop it, and then you'll be away. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get a little teaspoon and a dessert spoon, and we're going to make some fresh straight away. And then I'll show you how to roll the rest to store in your freezer. So just scrape down because it's all precious. Sure, my son won't mind me using one of his penguin spoons, just to add a bit of difference. So what we'll do, they don't spread really bad, they normally rise quite high. So what you want is a good dessert tablespoon full of mix, and they will round themselves off, but I'll show you a little tip before you bake them. So you put a couple side by side, like that, and just fill your tray. Like I said, you might have heard me say on one of my other videos, Silpat mats or silicone mats, whatever you want to call them, these are brilliant. I got these from Cake and Bake Show, and they're fantastic. You can get them on eBay, you know, they're invaluable. So, once you've done that, keep your rest of your dough to your side. Like I say, if you're wanting to just bake them all straight away, because you've got a lot of people coming around, then bake them straight away. That's not a problem. So, what I do is wet the back of my spoon. And when you wet the back of your spoon, you can touch it down and your mixture doesn't stick. You have to keep wetting it. So, just run a bit of cold water like that. So, this allows you to pat your cookie dough down a bit so it's a bit flatter. It's less dollop. Like that, nice and quick. That's it. So, these, this is the thing with cookies. You can cook them all the way through and they'll be nice and cakey and they'll be nice. Or you can undercook them and they'll be really chewy. It's completely up to you. I will like it. Personally, I like chewy, and my kids like chewy. But you can cook them all the way through if that's how you want them. They'll work either way. So I have it on 200 degrees, gas mark 7. Now it's a bit 50-50 as to how long to cook them, depending on your oven. But I'd start with 8 minutes and check them after 8 minutes for about that size. If you find at 8 minutes that you need them a bit more, then just put them a bit more. You know, you don't necessarily need to get too much colour on them. You just need to make sure that they're cooked. But slightly under is fine because it's that'll be like your chewy. But when they come out, you must leave them for at least 10 minutes to settle. If you try and pick them off, they'll just break because they're warm. So you'll need to leave them at least 10 minutes when they come out before you transfer them to a cooling rack. Otherwise they'll just disintegrate. But we'll show you that when we get to it. So we're just going to put them in and we'll see you in about 8 to 10 minutes. Right, we're back, ready to take the cookies out. So as you can see, nice and flat, but they're still quite soft in there. And that's just exactly how I want them. So what I've done is leave them there to cool for about 5 or 10 minutes. But before we take them off the mat, what we're going to do now is just show you how we roll them up. So we get some cling film. Get some cling film down and just roll yourself a piece. Like that. And then get yourself another piece and roll that overlapping like that, so it just creates a double skin. And all you're going to do now is get your cookie dough and put your cookie dough like that on there, and side by side. I know it looks wet, so don't worry about that. Bit by bit like this. Once you get to the end, what we're going to do, grab the end two pieces like that, and just fold it over on itself, and just tuck it over. I know it looks flat at the moment, but what we're going to do, just going to get a little bit of water on your hand and just rub it on the bench or whatever you've got, like that. And what that's going to do is just going to grip your cling film. So, and just roll it over on itself like that. Keep rolling. So you get your end pieces, and then just pull two little handles out on the end pieces and just keep holding it and just roll it away from you like that. And once it does that, what it'll do is it keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Once you've got to that stage, what you want to do is tie a little knot in the bottom of it like that. And then get your other one and roll it the opposite way, tighten that side. Once you've done that, just push it down with your hand like that, so you can get your finger and just put that into a knot. Once that's in a knot, what you're going to do is just put that straight to your freezer, and you've got 6 months there of it being set in it, and you can just get it out and cut it whenever you want. Give it a try, kids will love it. Serve it with everything, crumble them up, put them on ice cream. Anything else you need to know, always look. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter at Love Fam, Love Food, and Facebook, Love Family, Love Food. Check out my other videos, see what you think, and just share it with your friends. Let's enjoy.